Okay, my beautiful friends, we are back together again at last. And I love that part. I really do. I love this part. Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. As most of you know, I took a couple of days off. I never do that. But I needed to decompress. This entire freak show really gets to me once in a while, but I do feel better. And I hope you feel better as well. Let's get this show back on the road. So I'm laughing. I'm already laughing. Yesterday, in this market, I was watching it. Believe me, I was watching it. It was kind of, I don't know, I guess what you would expect to happen in this kind of environment. This stock market yesterday started out pretty deep in the red. Then, by some miracle, the 10-year yield dropped, stocks turn around, positive across the board. Okay, the setup this morning is not good. This morning. Okay, what do we got going on? 10-year yield, 2.82. Came up a little bit from yesterday. Stock futures slightly in the red. That's not a great setup for the market, but the Fed's going to do more. A lot more, like I said recently. Now, we just got some economic news I want you to hear. And we just heard from not one, but two major Wall Street banks with some pretty dire warnings. Let's start off with the economic news that we got this morning. So housing starts literally plummet, falling 9.6% versus I'm laughing, a 2.5% decline by, the rocket scientists, freaking economists who are never right. All right, Yahoo Finance is saying that the housing market, this is them, not Greg Mannarino. Housing market is cratering. Yeah, absolutely. Everything is cratering around us. Let's move on here with more economic news. Credit card debt continues to surge higher. Now, you and I already understand what's going on. We spoke about this way before it even happened. We discussed right here on their freaking eyeballs, their lungs, and everything else here, just to try to maintain the illusion here that there is some kind of normalcy to their life. In other words, they don't want to fall to the lower rung of society. So what they're doing is they're guaranteeing that they will fall to the lower rung of society by making themselves slaves to the system, debt slaves on an unimaginable scale. Credit card debt, household debt, personal debt. I mean, it's just not stopping, and that's the mechanism. It's by design. You all understand that. Central banks have the world and its citizens, all of them, by the freaking throat here. And they're cutting off their air supply in the literal sense. They want these people gone. We're going back to a feudal system. You all know that. All right. So also going back to housing here. So housing affordability again plunges to its lowest level in over 30 years. Um, and they're calling this a housing recession as well. It's totally out of control, but I mean, it's about control too. I say out of control, yeah, but you know what this really is. This is a mechanism to bring the world to its knees before central banks, who are now the one world government. Period. The end. So let's just move forward. We got a couple of warnings here. So J.P. Morgan, I want you to hear this. JP Morgan is warning of a severe economic downturn, and that is being backed up by Wells Fargo. Both of these major banks are warning of a severe, their words, severe economic downturn. And JP Morgan goes on to say, are you ready for this? Listen to what they're telling you. This is JP Morgan. Something, something more than a recession is coming. So a severe downturn, according to JP Morgan, the largest bank on the planet by assets. You think they have a little insight into this? I think they do. Okay. And something more than a recession is coming. I'm laughing, but it's pathetic. You and I completely understand what's going on. And people are being duped, lied to. People are being told, or we're just told, but I can't take this. I can't freaking take it. By our illustrious imbecile of a president who's actually not that stupid. You have to understand. He's deliberately going out. He's smart enough to know, our President Bidenstein, mummy man himself, going out of his way to lie to people, telling them that there's zero inflation. Zero. I mean, it's everywhere. Um, that little clip of him saying there's zero inflation and our economy is really, really strong. You can't make this stuff up. So he's not as stupid as people think he is. He's not as brain dead as people think he is. I think it's a plausible deniability kind of a scheme, but he did say zero inflation here and people getting crushed. And that's the other thing too. They're trying to play up peak inflation. People remember this. So far, at least twice that I can recall, they said inflation was peaking. Inflation is not peaking. And the fact that the puppet government is going out of its way here, with inflation reduction acts and everything else. They're going to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to reduce inflation. Well, let's spend a trillion. Why don't we spend 5 trillion? We can bring, inflation down to zero, right? No, it can't happen. And they know that. They're laughing in your face. Our freaking moronic, imbecile politicians who are just puppets of the central bank because they're being told what to say. All of them here. You understand? Um, they're playing everybody for a fool here. All right. So on the back of all that, let's look over at the market. So as I said, stock futures slightly in the red as I am doing this. Trading doesn't start for about 40 minutes. 10-year yield 2.82. Keep your eye on that. In my opinion, and I said this recently in a video, central banks are going to do a lot more. The Federal Reserve is going to shock the market. Okay, they're going to buy more debt on a massive scale. You're not allowed to know about it. They're not going to announce this like the European Central. See, at least the European Central Bank told everyone what they were going to do. Unlimited bond buying across the entire Eurozone. Okay. Well, the Fed doesn't have to tell you anything because you see, they're your overlords. So why should they don't owe you nothing. You're a piece of dog shit wrapped in cat shit, sprinkled with bird shit and a couple of other flecks of shit from other animals around too. Okay. That's what you are to the central banks here. They don't answer to you. Okay. You answer to them, period. Okay. And they're going to make sure that things stay not just stay static, but get a lot worse here. They're going to continue to inflate. They're going to go out of their way to create inflation. They're going to buy it all because that's their goal. That is their freaking end game, and you all know that too. So what else is going on? Bitcoin around 24,000 under a little pressure. Gold and silver under a little pressure here. WTI crude just over $90 a barrel. Dollar slightly stronger this morning. That's the setup here for the market here. Now, with that said, what do you think is going to happen? Let's just put this together in our minds here. We understand, look, we're getting pretty dire warnings here. Something worse than a recession is coming, according to JP Morgan. A severe economic downturn is coming. This is two major banks here. Okay, we know that. We're already in it. Okay, duh. Duh, duh, duh. Make this shit up. I dare you to do it. But that does not mean, it does not mean that the stock market is going to follow suit. It's not going to. It's not going to. Until we get a meltdown in the debt market, people listen to me. I realize what's going on here, okay? You got multiple YouTube channel so-called market experts. Some of them aren't even in the market. They don't own a single share of stock. You know who I'm talking about. He admits it all the time, okay? He's a market expert, doesn't own a share of stock, missed out on the biggest bull market the world has ever seen. But he's a market expert too. You know that. I'm not going to mention any freaking names here, okay? Calling for a crash every single month. Yes, a crash is coming on a scale that people aren't going to believe at one point. But calling for a crash every month ain't helping nobody. Okay, but I'm telling you right here and now, it's not going to start in the stock market. It's the driver, people. You know that. All of you that are new here, forget the stock market. The debt market is the driver, okay? It's the biggest monster Frankenstein bubble in the history of the world, okay? That is going to continue to stay inflated, but beyond anybody's wildest imagination is going to keep going. Okay, ECB already buying it all. Fed doing the same thing. You're not allowed to know that. Okay, but you can see it right before your eyes. Keep your eye on that 10-year yield. The 10-year yield is going to tell us what's happening. We're at 2.82 this morning. If we see that start to rise, bang, 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 in an uncontrolled fashion, that's going to hit the stock market. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Fed's going to get in here and buy more debt. You're going to see the 10-year yield fall. Now, the other indicator, the ultimate indicator, and I'm telling you right here and now, people, I realize it's Greg Mannarino's creation, okay? The MMRI. Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. It's free to everyone. Okay, it's right on my website, traderschoice.net. As a matter of fact, there's a direct link to the MMRI right in the description of this video. Follow the MMRI and the 10-year yield. And you're never going to have to guess when the big one's going to happen. So when you hear these crash callers every single month, you can laugh. Okay? They are going to be right at one point. If you call for a crash every single month, year after year after year, you're going to get it right. But it's not helping nobody. Yes, these people have one thing correct: betting against the debt, becoming your own central bank. I don't care what they do to precious metals people in the short run. You know that. These are anti-debt units. These are units of wealth. You know what my favorite is of all time. I keep showing this to you. Look, I don't sell silver or gold or platinum or palladium, but silver is my favorite asset of all time. You all know that. All right, look, you have a very good handle on what's happening. Now, I want to hear from you. So the question is, on the back of JP Morgan here, warning that something worse, a recession coming. Uh, and they're warning of a severe economic downturn. So who's right? You got our president here telling you how great everything is, okay? Our illustrious, really nice guy. You know what I'm going to say here. Did president, okay? Although he's smart enough to deceive you. He's smart enough to lie to you. He's not going to stop lying to you, okay? He's going to tell you how great everything is. Meanwhile, it's, people are, they're dancing on the Titanic. It's over. It's over. Anyway, I want to hear from you. What do you think of all that? What do you think about all this here, too, honestly? Housing starts plummet. Look at this. It came in at minus 9.6% versus 2.5. I mean, that's a pretty big miss. And Yahoo Finance calling this a housing market cratering crash, basically. Unreal. Credit card debt out of control. People are suffering here on a massive scale, and it's not going to stop. Like I've been telling you, it's going to get much worse. So what does it mean? What are you going to do about it? I mean, they sit here and they blab and they blab and they blab. It's all well and good and fun in some kind of ways, some twisted way. But what are we doing about it, people? Look, take steps to protect yourself. You got to get yourself on the right side of this. I sincerely believe this market is going higher, okay? Based upon what I believe is going to happen in the debt market. I believe the 10-year yield is going to stay suppressed. Forget the yield curve being inverted worse than it's ever been in the history of the world. We already know something worse than a recession is coming. We don't need JP Morgan to tell us that something worse than a recession is coming. Duh. Okay, we know it's already here. All right, but they're going to tell you something worse is coming. You can't make it up. It's impossible to do. My blood pressure's starting to go up. I feel it right now. But what are you going to do about it? You're not going to bury yourself in any more debt. That's the fact. You're going to bet against the debt, become your own central bank, hold units of wealth, and if you are so inclined, pick a part of the market you want to get involved in here because I think it's going higher. I've been screaming from rooftops about JEPI. Not telling you to buy it. Do your own research here. It's gone crazy since I bought it. Since I've been telling you before this big run up here, it's put on substantial gains. Plus, you have a freaking over 9% per month dividend. I mean, come on. You got to generate some cash flow for yourselves, people. All right, look, this video is getting really long. Please share it. Please get it out there. Comment. What do you think about all this? What do you think? I got to calm the freak down. Anyway, great to be back. Missed all of you. I will see you at the end of the day. Epic.